Hello, good evening. I am Kushagra, and we are here back with you guys for the Football Daily Life. And fantastic place for Leicester fans to start from. Massive congratulations to Leicester, the first ever victory in the FA Cup. They've become the 44th different name on the trophy, as Peter Drury told us yesterday. So massive kudos to the Foxes, their fans, and of course the wonderful owners that have actually helped not just the club but the community all around. You could see yesterday what it meant to the owners. You could see yesterday what kind of connection the players, the staff, the fans have with the ownership. So I think in an era when we've spoken so much about the ownership, I think that's something that really stood out to me. Beyond that,
Yeah,
of course, Youri Tielemans, what a strike! One of the goals of all time in FA Cup history, FA Cup finals history. I think the commentators were mentioning it to be one of the top 10 goals ever scored. And in terms of Chelsea, a disappointing performance. And we've got Akshay and Vijay here to discuss the Chelsea performance here from last night, and of course Pratmesh here to give a little bit of a Leicester perspective. उसके अलावा भी देखेंगे हम लोग. There was a lot of football beyond Leicester versus Chelsea as well. Yesterday we saw West Ham draw, and which effectively rules them out of the Champions League race. So I guess the Chelsea
yeah.
fans would be slightly happier about that, considering they
London's
still
not
have.
brown anymore.
Sorry.
London's not brown anymore.
Yeah, London's not brown. I mean, we don't have reggae here to go all guns blazing on
Well,
that. But
Chelsea were shit yesterday, so it was a little
so
brown.
it was all right. It was a little brown. All right. We'll take that under consideration as well. But coming back to the discussion of the main match of the day yesterday, we'll start of course with Chelsea versus Leicester, and we'll start with Vijay and then go on to Akshay. Vijay, yaar, talking about this particular game, we spoke with Rege also yesterday. He said amongst the four games that you guys had remaining, that was the most losable game, if you could, put it. I know it's not a real word or real term to use, but that was one of the games that you could really afford to lose, because in terms of the next season, it wouldn't have had any corresponding impact on the season that you guys are going to have next season. So, in that sense, does it put any kind of more of a pressure on you as a Chelsea fan, or do you think it puts more pressure on the squad for the game that is there tomorrow?
No, I think Chelsea never ever, at least since I've been a fan, or let's say since Roman Abramovich took over, don't have losable games. That's just not what this club is. And if you tell me that Chelsea thought of a title final, like a silverware opportunity, as this is the most losable game of the season, no way in hell. What I want, but the sad part is that's in what we think in our heads. Now, if you tell me that was this performance at Wembley better, or did we play much better as a response to how we lost against Arsenal? That's where I'd actually have to say no. We did not play much better in terms of football with the change in personnel. I think we always spoke about how the squad was going to change. It's going to be the Real Madrid lineup, the European world beaters who are going to turn up. But they sort of showed up in terms of product, but the performance was. And I shuddered when I watched yesterday's podcast again, and I said, like, if Chelsea turn up there with 80% performance, Leicester are definitely that team to capitalize on the lack of 20. And holy crap, that's exactly what happened. So, so, so I hated
Mind
myself,
you, mind
but
you,
yeah,
Vijay, that was a Leicester that lost Johnny Evans on the 30th minute mark. That was a Leicester that
Yeah.
had to make changes to their team, and also it's not as if they had their strikers in prime form. I think what Leicester did very well was to ensure that Chelsea went wide rather than going narrow, and that really helped Leicester with the lack of penetration through the crosses that the Chelsea could have gotten.
definitely. And I think if I could quantify that same statistic into a way that the XG that we had with Arsenal was some 1.5 plus, But this, the one which we played against in a cup final with Leicester, was one of the lowest under the Tuchel era. Like it was I think the bottom four are like with Wolves, where Tuchel had a 1 hour training session. That was the 0-0 draw. With
Yeah.
Brighton, the 1-1 draw. Then against City, which was a 1-1 draw. And I think all of our luck got exhausted at the end when we actually scored that goal and became 2-1
Yeah.
winners. And since then, we've just been the unluckiest team ever, I think. Or I think all of our luck is dependent on Timo Werner's decision making. Because when you said the Johnny Evans, being lost in the first half, that was literally the most exciting thing to happen in the first half of a fucking FA Cup final. Because the first shot didn't take place in that first half. It
Yeah.
happened in the 53rd minute. And
Yeah.
that's my point, right? If you go to a cup final without the ability to take a shot, uh, with the mentality, like, and I preface this in the same way that we still are giddy in being in the Champions League final. But if you are going with that giddiness, it's supposed to be backed up with, a performance. And I think Pep Guardiola saw the first half and was licking his lips and was hoping that this Chelsea show up at the end of the month. But I don't know, and I think I said it last podcast where this is a big game and it's going to be a margin of 1 goal to either side, and we need
Yeah.
Giroud. And I honestly felt that from maybe minute 20. I don't know, but it was very chastising.
Yeah, I mean that's quite an answer there, because it is tough to disagree with Vijay, and we saw that yesterday. एक number 9 का जैसे कि Vijay, you spoke about that there is a genuine lack of it, and I'll come to
Yeah.
Akshay around it as well. We've spoken about this in the past, Akshay. Uh,
Yeah.
it is showing. I know Man City is Sal, they've won the title almost without really having a consistent number 9, which I think is a little bit of a disservice to Gabriel Jesus and whoever has played up top, because it's not like they've not played anyone up top.
Yeah.
They've tried
Yeah.
to play fit in players because they don't have a number 9, and I think Chelsea ने same problem face किया है. While a lot of times their attackers have pulled them out of the fire, but yesterday a number 9 was lacking. And once again, Akshay, 100 बात की एक बात, what the fuck was Christian Pulisic doing on the bench? ये question I asked you guys
I
yesterday when
yeah.
I said that for me he's the best player in Chelsea squad, and he is the most informed player from Chelsea I've seen in the last 4 weeks. And why is he sitting on the bench?
Yeah, Kushagra, I get your point, but the most important thing was there was no focal point in the front line. We had Timo Werner running around. He wasn't looking
Yeah.
for the right options. He wasn't looking for anything that's getting to him, and he was missing chances. Like he was shooting from edge of the boxes. मतलब एक सिक्स मारने जैसा हो रहा था, मतलब किधर भी मार रहा था, शूट कर रहा था.
Yeah.
It was wavered, and you don't expect that from a number 9. So that's where I
Yeah.
think we lost it. We should have started Havertz and Werner. If you are going to start Werner, we need to either start a Havertz or a Giroud. We need a focal point. We need someone who can supply from the center to Timo Werner. And if he isn't there, then that's a disappointing thing. And when you're a senior creator like ZH, you should expect more from him. I was expecting more from him, but he was disappointing too. He seemed lazy when there was opportunities. Like you could capitalize on those opportunities. You don't see Pulisic not going for those balls. ZH was letting those balls go. Uh, I don't see like how ZH fits in the system. I don't see him in Chelsea next season because he has been
Wow.
disappointing. Yeah, and we have enough creators on the bench. I feel Callum Hudson-Odoi did a better job when he came on. I
Yeah.
felt Pulisic could have done better job if he had started, but I felt there was missing. We were missing Havertz from the start. If you are going to if you are playing in a final, then you should start your strongest 11. I think Havertz does start in your strongest 11. The one we beat Real Madrid in the second leg. I think Havertz started in that, and we should have started Havertz yesterday too. The one thing I liked about Tuchel was playing Reece James at right centre back. I think that was crucial to limit Vardy with his runs, because like Prathamesh mentioned it yesterday,
But Akshay,
he
don't
could
you
have
think
capitalized if it was Aspilicueta or
Yeah.
Christensen over there. It was really that one decision I liked about Tuchel. Like Reece James started at right centre back. Obviously, he made mistakes. He wasn't starting there regularly, but I feel it was a important decisions. We could have considered a lot more if if someone like Christensen or Aspilicueta would have started there. I think Vardy would have had a lot of space if that was the
my
case.
question, my counter
Yeah,
question to both of you, Akshay and Vijay, is start with you, Akshay, then come to Vijay. Uh, you do play, Reece James at RCB and play as Piliqueta at RWB. But my
yeah,
point is, as Piliqueta is a very limited player when it comes to trying to attack, and it completely negated whatever Chelsea got from the right hand side yesterday.
Yeah.
We saw that, and even that incredible ball that Reece James eventually played right at the death, which
yeah,
was an offside goal, which
yeah,
is offside by, by guess by a millimeter or something like that. But it was
Yeah.
whatever it was.
yeah,
But once again we saw कि Reece James की creativity की वजह से वो chance create हुआ था, and his ability to put the ball on the right spot. That was a world class pass to
Yeah.
Ben Chilwell. By the way, I mean,
uh,
it's just very unlucky the way it turned out the way it
yeah,
did. First of all, very lucky the way it turned out to be it did, and then very unlucky. So, but
yeah.
do you think, looking at that, do you think Chelsea ने miss ज़्यादा किया rather than gaining from that Vardy protection?
I think that's where my ZH points comes in, because we expected a lot more from ZH, and that's why he was started there. Like
Okay,
Yeah.
against low
fair
blocks,
enough.
he was important. ZH was important, and he's our senior creator. He's the most senior one in that attacking lineup. If you see, they're all under 23, under 24s, and this guy
Yeah.
should be creating a lot more. Should be taking responsibilities from that side. And I think Aspilicueta is decent enough to make those runs, keep the attacking flow going on. But like you said, things don't work out sometimes.
Can I
And
respond
yeah,
to
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, and this is something that actually I was where Akshay was right now
yeah,
after the game,
Yeah.
but after a little while, I think nobody performs so badly that
yeah,
they shouldn't be there in Chelsea next season, and that's just my opinion now. And
Yeah.
it's sort of like when you mentioned that should we have played Reece James up front in right wing back instead of
Yeah.
RCB. I think the two times that Vardy got owned by Reece James, you could easily imagine him owning Aspilicueta.
yeah,
Yeah.
Vardy owning Aspilicueta, and that could have been a different story. And I think that was the story last FA Cup final when Aubameyang really exploited the lack of pace of Aspilicueta,
Exactly. Yeah.
and
yeah,
it's definitely like a different narrative. And my point actually being that this was a game of extremely fine margins, right? I genuinely think Leicester did not have a shot on target that was threatening except for that one goal. And
Yeah.
if we had got that Ben Chilwell goal in the front, or if somebody, and I know this is where I would also agree with Kushaga that Pulisic
yeah,
could have had a moment of
Should have
magic,
played.
but
Yeah.
all of our other players are capable of that, magic. It's not,
Yeah.
and I guess that's where the disappointment with Ziyech comes in. But I'm also disappointed with Mount. The shots that he had, he could have taken it
Yeah.
differently. There was one that he connected with really well and kind of hit directly at Schmeichel.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's really fine margins, and it's sort of the kind of coach Tuchel is. It's sort of like Guardiola. When it
Yeah.
like Guardiola did lose to Leicester, and you could have sorry, not Leicester, Leeds, and
Leeds.
with a 2-0, right? And there was nothing more Guardiola could do. That's his
Could
philosophy.
do.
I
Yeah.
will
yeah,
I will prepare my team to have the most number of advantages chances in a brilliant attacking footballish way. And in the 10 games that we play, 9 of them will be beautiful. But this was, I think, the FA Cup final was that
Yeah.
one game where things or that luck was not with us,
Yeah.
especially in terms of millimeters. Yeah.
Also, to add to Akshay's point, like I understand where he comes from regarding Ziyech, because I think the moment he was signed, you knew he was a massive, massive boost for them. I also feel that just this formation or just this style of play doesn't suit him. You look at Ajax,
Yeah,
right? When he played at Ajax, the world was moving around him, and he was in a moving world. He was the
yeah.
stable guy, and that
My
is how he used to create space for himself, and that is how he
yeah,
used to actually look at the world and get that right pass in. And sometimes he used to, get the ball himself and start moving with the ball. Here he's doing a lot more without it, and what
yeah.
he's doing without it is actually not helping the team. It is maybe just that expectation of Ziyech in a way where you look at certain players, like you have talked about a lot of players before, like players like Ozil who do not do the work,
Yeah,
or this happened with Mata previously with Jose Mourinho and all of these things. With Ziyech, he does that. He has an incredible work rate. But when
yeah,
you are in possession, Hakim Ziyech is the kind of person who would love to be in a scenario where he finds those little spaces in between lines, and he likes to feed people off that. Whereas here he was looking to make those runs himself. So I think that's where you could look at Ziyech in a different way and try to mold him into this team, and it would work out. I mean, he's still a fantastic player. Yes, you do expect a lot more, but
I like how
unfortunately,
you're his agent.
yeah.
my point with no,
I
my
wish
point
I
with
if he
my
was my
point.
agent,
Yeah.
if I was his agent, I would have sent him to Man United, man. I mean, why would I send him to Chelsea? Yeah.
I mean,
No,
you
my
can't
point with
say.
Ziyech is I don't
I'm
deny.
not responding to that because Kushaga
Yeah,
doesn't want me to, but okay.
you can't really send anyone. But anyway, Akshay, come to you.
Yeah. So my point with Ziyech is I'm not doubting his ability. I
Yeah.
know we have seen that ability. He has scored against Man City, and we've seen him creating chances. But it doesn't feel like he fits in the system. And I think we have a lot of attacking players waiting to be like bursting on the scene. Like
Yeah.
we have yet to see best of Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I think he has more potential than what Ziyech could offer for us. And Ziyech,
Yeah.
at his peak, should be adapting well to the league
Yeah.
than these guys. And with the opportunities he's getting, I think Callum Hudson-Odoi could have done a lot better with
Yeah.
those
भेज दो
Okay.
United
opportunities.
को. United को भेज दो.
Uh,
It's okay.
नहीं
Permission
नहीं.
for a Tuchel appreciation post. Because
नहीं
I
नहीं
mean, in response to just what like Akshay is saying, right?
Vijay,
It's
Vijay, just
yeah.
answer this as well. There were, I
Okay.
mean, we have discussed about the credibility in the past, and I know none of us really take ESPN on face value or any value for that matter. But they were discussing yesterday कि अगर he loses the Champions League final and he struggles to make the top four, will this be a poor season for Thomas Tuchel? And I
Yeah.
started wondering when Thomas Tuchel took over, Chelsea were not even in Europa League spot.
No.
Forget
Yeah.
Champions League, they were not even in the
Exactly.
Europa League spot. And fuck the Champions League, dude. Like no one was thinking about that. No one was
Yeah.
thinking about the Cup final. No one was
Yeah.
thinking about that. Chelsea were having almost as bad a season as Arsenal,
Yeah.
and he's managed to pull that club out. And in all probability, I think Chelsea will finish top four. They,
Yeah.
let's be honest, Man City are the favorites, so Chelsea might lose the
Yeah.
final. It's not a
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
deal losing to Man City. Almost every other team does that.
I feel like I'm a
How
ventriloquist and Kushagar is saying everything I want him to.
how ridiculous would it be? Because the thing is, with Chelsea, you do know
Yeah.
that if
Yeah.
things don't turn out in his favor next season, start of the season, 6 months he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if that is the approach that the club is going to have, then I don't see the point of these young players coming into Chelsea. Any manager
Yeah.
trying to build a squad. What are these likes of Billy Gilmore's and Callum Hudson-Odoi's, Reece James, and what are these guys even doing in the Chelsea team? I don't get it. The club is not set up for players like these. I don't understand that Akshay is saying ki you have Hudson Odoi who should get a chance. But I
Yeah.
think under this management, under this kind of a director of football, you'll always have the ZX over the Hudson Odois.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah. I get
always
that.
you will
Yeah.
I
always
don't
have these
agree.
guys.
I don't agree. I think
Please
approach
give
has
us
changed. Think
Yeah.
think of
please
the
give us
That's
your
recruit
changed.
thoughts.
think of the recruitment strategy. We have 4 super young players recruited last year and one Ziyech recruited the year before, like 6 months
Yeah.
before that. obviously the club's long-term strategy is to give these guys, along with the world-class talent of our academy, a chance. You look at the team we were talking about last podcast, which was the Real Madrid world-beating team, right?
Yeah,
That's all youngsters, pretty much,
Yeah.
with the experience of Jorginho, Aspilicueta, Thiago Silva, who we know don't have more than a season more with the club, right?
yeah,
So it
Yeah.
really is, the future is with the youth of this squad, and the youth of this squad do predominantly make the first team lineup.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
this is now here, I'm going to raise the flag of the Tuchel appreciation post, where I genuinely have to say Chelsea have a
Yeah.
actual manager
Yeah.
who will fit what you said in the 6 months, we're going to burn your contract hierarchy
yeah,
that Chelsea have. If your results don't, we have a coach who doesn't care about that anymore. He actually only cares about what he has to work with.
Yeah.
Even
yeah,
if you notice in his press conferences so far, and this could be completely changed next season, because you know how it is, right? Conte was my favorite man on the planet, and the next season he text Diego Costa like, you're not in my plans, and I'm like, what the hell, man? And it doesn't make sense. You don't break up with a
Yeah.
10. But yeah, yeah. And and that's my point, right? So what I say now does not apply to next season because hashtag Chelsea.
Yeah.
But in terms of the manager fitting, this is probably one of the best manager signings that we've had, or in terms of potential to fit the Chelsea
yeah,
ethos, especially a guy who loves coaching youngsters.
Yeah.
And I
yeah,
think if you mentioned Hudson Odoi not getting chances, if you ask Hudson Odoi today, do you like Tuchel? He would have glowing terms only to
Obviously.
speak about him,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dude, we forget how young Billy Gilmore and Hudson
Mm.
Odoi are.
Yeah.
Like, if we
yeah. They're
have kids right
19.
now, like they'd just be like, when they're ZX age, they'd be like very much probably the age I started watching football, right? They would be the ones that
Yeah.
they'd have first memories of football with. So I don't really see the need to have that. And that's a very big Chelsea panic button. It exists. I am not disagreeing.
Yeah,
It exists as
yeah,
much as Stamford Bridge exists, as
yeah,
Roman Abramovich exists. But my point is that panic button is very distant into the future, because Thomas Tuchel is actually a good manager, a manager even in the pantheons of Pep Guardiola or a Klopp. The potential is there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely, I think his time in Germany, especially earlier with Mainz, then with Dortmund, did prove that. Though Thomas Tuchel does not have the best track record when it comes to his relationship with the owners. So
yeah,
that's the only thing that he needs to be careful about. I suppose that is probably one of the learnings that he's had, according to me, is not commenting on his squad. I guess he's
yeah,
just taking everything as it comes and say, as he said so many times, my job is that of a coach. It's not that of a
yeah,
recruiter or a director of football. So which is fair enough. If you really have competent people like Chelsea do have work
Yeah.
doing
yeah,
that, then you'll be fine. All right, I'll take a
yeah,
few comments and I'll come to you guys, back to you guys. Olis Juju
yeah.
says, Brendan had called me asking about how to have Jujus in a game. Tips worked. All right, Ole. Thomas is here saying sorry. Rohit says, what's worse? Tuchel overthinking his tactics or Pep overthinking his
Pep.
tactics?
Your thought process.
Tuchel responding definitely Pep. All
Yeah,
right.
Pep. Yeah.
Money says, any thoughts on Tammy Abrams' future? I'll come to
भाई
Akshay
तो
about this.
फीफा पे स्क्वाड
Yeah.
बना दे मेरी पहले बाद में वर्क करिए ये सब
Vipul says Brendan Rodgers is the first manager to win both the English and Scottish FA Cup since Sir Alex. Congratulations to Brendan Rodgers. Also, massive
yeah
congratulations to him, because
Yeah.
he's borne the brunt of
yeah
Yeah.
not really actually getting across the line there.
yeah
So major
which really wasn't
congratulations.
his fault either. I mean, if you look
I
at the
mean, 13,
Liverpool
14,
season,
13,
yeah,
14 was, but yeah,
not
all
really.
right. Yeah, and it was.
And
It was not just Gerard's slip that caused
no,
the
it
tragedy.
wasn't just about Gerrard slipping. You just look at
So
that game against Crystal
it, it,
Palace. I mean,
it, it was. It was. He's the manager. You have to take the responsibility there, of course.
Yeah.
Gerrard
Yes, so
slipping.
says Chilwell did a Coutinho Hazard by losing against his former team in an
That
important
is the
match.
first time you can use a Coutinho and a Hazard like that. Of all the things those two amazing
Yeah.
players have done, I don't. You can even call eating, like showing up to training overweight, a Hazard, but not that, guys. Like, come
Not
on.
that.
Going on the trading over.
But Coutinho
Alright.
did win the Champions League, so he has that in his locker.
Yeah.
Coutinho won the Champions League with Barca, right? So Bayern, right?
Bayern,
Last
Bayern,
season.
Bayern.
yeah.
Last
Yeah.
season, so yeah. Coutinho ने पता है Coutinho को बहुत hate मिलती है, but he's actually pretty decent for Bayern last year, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
But
he
yeah, and also that whole. I don't think Ben Chilwell should have celebrated. That's what I think. I think it was
It's
really
okay, yeah.
hilarious. It is really hilarious looking at him go
Yeah.
all that way, and literally 30
Arre,
seconds later, it was all done.
I don't get it.
It's
I mean,
okay.
he's
It's okay. He
scoring.
should have celebrated. He scored in the 90th minute, an
Nine-
equalizer in FA
yeah.
Cup final. I mean,
Have you
As
guys
Akshay-
seen?
As Akshay tweeted today, there is no
Yeah.
concept of celebrating goals anymore. By the way, you
Yeah,
score a goal,
that's
you play.
done.
You look at the,
Yeah,
you
that's
look at the
done.
board. That is how you.
you know,
celebrate.
Cavani
Those are
literally
the new
waits
rules.
for the VAR to
Yeah.
give the goal and then
Yeah.
he brings
Then
out
only
his
he does
phone.
Yeah, exactly. Now the celebrating thing is thing of the past, man.
Have
You
you
won't
guys
see that.
seen John Wick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that scene, right, where and when we scored, I honestly called my best Chelsea friend, and I was swearing at Leicester, their history, their owner, their manager, all of the goody rainbow bullshit that Leicester deserved to win this more than us. I was just taunting that, and then at the point where VAR disallowed the goal, there's that scene in John Wick where the villain guy finds out his son killed John Wick's dog and says,
Yeah.
"Oh."
Yeah.
That was me. That was me and my friend, and we were like, "Oh, okay." And then we just kept.
I
the call, and,
remember
like, if we score
had
another
a
one, I'll
watch
call you
along
back.
yesterday. We had a watch along yesterday. I think Akshay was there as well, if I'm not wrong.
No,
And I think
was
no,
not.
Akshay wasn't there. So there was Siddharth and everybody else, and we were like, I was just so disappointed when Leicester conceded, and Siddharth was going all crazy, and then we realized that Leicester actually
Yeah.
got that VAR decision in their favor. I just remember people just losing it after that. I mean, in the other way around.
I mean, it's a correct decision, but I
Yeah.
just don't like the VAR thing
Yeah.
itself. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it just ruins
No one
it,
does, buddy.
everything.
No one
It
does.
ruins
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Imagine winning a Champions League final by scoring a magnificent goal and then having it rolled out by VAR. I mean, all of that.
Imagine if that Zidane shot had come off of a hand of someone else.
Oh yes.
That would have been hilarious. Anyway, coming back. Yasho says really happy for Rodgers as a Liverpool fan. He's still an underrated manager. I think Yasho ab ho gaya hai. I think he's rated now. He's very well rated.
Yeah.
Considering Arsenal and Tottenham have gone after him, and
They're still small clubs.
there were rumors of Chelsea as well because he's a former Chelsea
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
Former
Yeah, I
I
Chelsea.
think he burnt that bridge
manager
by
as well.
saying something stupid, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Did he?
Like, he went to Liverpool or Celtic and said this is a bigger club than them, and it was.
Yeah, I think he went to Liverpool and said that.
I'm
Well,
not
it is a bigger
sure.
club than Chelsea.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. You can't manage.
You can't say it. You can't
You
say
can't
it.
say it.
But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone is sleeping on this Leicester squad. This could be an unpopular opinion, but their starting 11 is as good as Chelsea or United. Wonderful business
Fair
by the
enough.
transfer committee.
Much better
Starting
midfield.
11. Yeah, sure. I
Much
think
better midfield.
I think their 18 could be. I think their 18 is incredible in terms of the value for money that they've gotten. And
Yeah.
in terms of the system that they play, they very well know their limitations. They play a style of football, they believe in it, and also their owners want to succeed because that's the
Exactly.
biggest differential when it comes to at least United.
When
I don't
he
think
cried yesterday.
I don't think their starting 11 is as good as Chelsea.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I
don't
want to
think
play
their starting-
FIFA with that guy, like his starting 11 versus mine, and then we'd see. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I don't think I think definitely their starting midfield is better than United. The centre backs are better than United, but I don't think their attack and their fullbacks and keeper are better than United. So yeah,
No, centre backs are not
And-
better than you. Come on.
yeah, centre backs are better than United, bro. There is not even a discussion.
Okay, let's have a discussion later on this.
No, there is no discussion. United. We already discussed United when we shouldn't have yesterday, and that's it.
Yeah.
And better than LFC. Yeah, sure is what Thomas is also saying. Game was all about moments. It was just that Leicester had one great moment. Chelsea was just a bit unlucky. It was true, Manish. It was right that. Tuchel भाई सच है फिर भी ज़्यादा हो रहा है. Yes. To defend my statement, Schmeichel is better than Hendo. NDD plus Tielemans are better than McFred.
Exactly,
Vardy is
yeah.
better than Cavani at the moment, and whoever
No.
they play. No, Vardy is not
At
better
the
than Cavani.
moment,
Vardy is not better than Cavani.
What
Vardy is not better
moment
than
are you
Cavani.
talking
At the-
about? At no
No.
moment has Vardy been better than Cavani, but okay.
No
And
way.
Schmeichel is better than Anderson, but there is a De Gea named figure is there
Yeah,
as well at
exactly.
United.
Yeah.
yeah.
And even their centre back. I mean, why are we discussing this? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway.
what is this United agenda? Let Leicester enjoy this. Let Leicester enjoy. 10 years ago, Vardy won his first trophy in the 7th tier. That was the FA Vase Cup.
Yeah.
You know, in the 7th tier of English football. Since then, he's won Premier League, Football Writers Association Player of the Year,
Yeah.
Golden Boot, and the FA Cup. Yes, and he's also become one of the very few players to have actually played in each and every round of the FA Cup and win the FA
13,
Cup.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Marvelous. Marvelous achievement. I mean,
I
you
looked at
saw
a-
as soon as the whistle went,
Yeah,
Vardy was one
how
of the
much it
first
meant.
players went
Yeah.
down to the ground side crying, then went to the owner and everything else. So, I mean, it's
I looked at
incredible
Vardy's
story.
2005 picture, Kushagra, today. He looked like someone from Hard Home, like the Game of Thrones. And I just couldn't believe where this guy has come. I mean, he was a
Yeah.
factory worker, and from where he's come to what he is now is just an incredible story that non-league football can do. I mean, Chris Smalling is another example of non-league football products. So, I mean, fantastic for Jamie Vardy. Couldn't be happier for him, and especially to a nicer guy. I know he has an history against United, but he is actually a very good footballer.
Is he nice? I don't think
I don't think so. Yeah, I like once you win something, the narrative just switches to like
Yeah.
everything's good about you. But okay.
Okay. ये मुझे पता बहुत सही लगता है यशो का. They are not even in the top fucking 4, and they think they have a better squad than Liverpool. I mean, you're talking about today, right? All of Leicester squad
Yeah.
is better than you, Yasho. All of Leicester
Yeah.
squad is better than you.
Oh.
Because you're not top 4. When you
I don't
win,
know.
we will talk about it.
Somewhere outside, Reggae is shit talking Sadio Mane.
He's doing that on music.
Yasho, so why are they below United? All right, Rohit. I mean, theek hai, chalo, leave it. They're still below United in the league, Yasho. So the argument as a team just holds a little weak. Okay.
Ooh.
Have you been sleeping all year, Rohit? Injuries? Arre.
अरे यहाँ पे
चलो ठीक है, let them carry on the conversation. I'll
Yeah.
last 10 games Liverpool are second below City. Okay, big deal, but league is not for 10 games, but yeah.
Yeah, we were champions in January.
Big deal. Who's talking about Liverpool, bro? You said Leicester.
Dude, literally, I feel like the audience of the podcast at this point. Can we move on to their little Twitter feud?
What I'll do. So basically, I'll sum up the discussion. That they're having a discussion. Yasho means to say is Leicester have a better squad than Chelsea and United at the moment, and he's given his reasons for that. And whereas Manish doesn't quite agree with that, he says, because they are above Leicester, so United probably have a better squad. Rohit says, why are Liverpool below United and Leicester if they have a better squad? All la-di-da. Basically, Leicester done well.
So
Yeah,
two
Leicester
people
done
have
well.
their pants down and they need a scale. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. Thomas Tuchel, of course, has to throw some barbs. Pool fans when they win, best team in England when they're losing, injuries. Yes. True. All right. Oh God. Still.
Weren't we supposed to talk about Zidane or something?
Yeah, we
I
were.
don't
We
know.
should.
Tammy
We should.
Abraham.
You know what I love the fact is everyone's commenting on YouTube, so that's great
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
That's
By
all.
the way,
That's all.
Yashu, you have a sorry, Vijay has a challenge. You will play FIFA. Not going to be cocky, but I'm a division player. Division 1.
Oh!
Vijay, you have competition.
What does that mean?
Oh, Yasho's already.
He's a Division 1 player.
Division 1
What
player,
is
basically.
there's a division in FIFA?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, in
God.
competitions you have. So basically, he is like the championship and you are the
Whoa.
non-league. So, I mean, think about it.
Okay,
as well.
so call me Cocky Wadi, right?
Yeah.
Vardy did win the Golden Boot last year. Let's not forget. I'm not forgetting that at all. Vardy is a fantastic player. No one's denying that. I just don't feel there's no point of any comparison right now. But yeah, as per above comments, if Leicester have so many players better than United,
My God, why
like
is this about United? I don't get it. Like we are
uh,
trying to run away from United.
Chaddo. We'll change the
Uh,
fucking league only now. All right, we go to Spain because we have the 37th round of matches, in Spain today. And I was looking at the fixtures today, which is quite exciting, to be honest, boys, because I think
Yeah,
if Real Madrid and Barca do not win today, and if Atleti manage to get so much as a point, it's done. So
yeah,
we're just hoping Atletico versus Osasuna goes the way we want,
yeah.
and when it comes to Real Madrid, who are away to Athletic Bilbao, let's not forget it's a
that's
very tough
tough.
game for them.
Yeah,
It's a very tough game for them, and whereas as far as Barcelona, they're at home to Celta Vigo. Well, any game is a tough game these days for Barcelona. So let's be honest and come back discussing that. Pratmesh, I'll start with you.
yeah,
Very, very important day for Atletico Madrid, isn't it? And
yeah.
one would be hoping, somehow or the other that they're able to at least get their job done, let alone what others do.
Exactly, man. I mean, Atletico Madrid have somehow managed to keep the others in the title race. Let's just say that's been La Liga this season. They were comfortable, they were cruising, and ये जोर जबरदस्ती का
Yeah.
जो title race अभी हो रहा है towards the end of the season was absolutely unnecessary. But I mean, I must say this that at Barcelona draw might have given them a lot of confidence in hindsight because even though they did not play to the best of their ability, still keeping Barcelona at bay at Nou Camp was like flashback to a few years back when they won the title at Nou Camp. And it looks like this team now has it in them to actually get over the line. Defensively, they have always been strong. I like the way Carrasco is playing this season, especially. Even when he plays as a wing back, his offensive and defensive duties are very well managed. I think that's something that comes out of him very naturally. You look at players like Luis Suarez, Anel Correa. I mean, you're not even talking about Joao Felix, right? All of these players who you might say are not probably the most biggest players or any of that sort. They're doing their job well. I think that is where you have to give credit to Simeone. All of those years of people asking why Simeone is so highly rated. I mean, I've seen various threads that Simeone is what XYZ. But you look at him and you look at the system that the base that he has in that system. You look at the kind of players that he plays. He looks at versatility within players. He looks at the output that those players could give him at a certain position against a certain opponent. And it does look very defensive. There is a lot of method that goes into it, which is why Simeone is where he is. And Atletico, I mean, Osasuna, whether they should be a challenge for them or not is probably what we'll find out later on, at 10 o'clock today. But I think they should be able to breeze past them and at least secure their position. Even if Atletico are to get a point, I think they still lead the league on goal difference. I don't understand why that entire 1v1 comes in, but okay. I think anyway they should win this today. They should win their game today. Madrid have a difficult one, and so do Barcelona to be honest.
Yeah.
But Atletico should be good enough for today, probably for a couple of goals themselves. The one thing that I'm generally looking forward to with Atletico is how Saul and Koke manage that whole midfield equation, because when you see them at the start of the season, they were more offensive. They like to be, those runners from midfield. Whereas with Saul now, he's more focused on being, you know, closed in with Koke and try to run the game from there. So there has something that has changed, is allowed Lorente or Carrasco to actually be more free in terms of what they give as an output. So I'm looking forward to this and hoping that Atletico win because wouldn't want any of Real or Barcelona to win, to be honest.
All right, fair enough. And if you guys could, I can hear a little bit of feedback. I think we're fine now. But yeah, Akshay, there are questions that are being asked and that have been directly directed to me. Your host, Tammy Abraham, ka pucho to Akshay ko. You said you'll get back to it. I will. So Akshay, coming back to you, man.
Yeah.
What about Tammy Abraham? कल तो यार बेंच से भी आने का मौका नहीं मिला. It looks very clear that he's on his way out, which
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
a shame. But I suppose it was pretty evident from the last time as well when he tried to break into Chelsea and had to go to Aston Villa on loan. It
Yeah.
just looks like it's not going to work out for him at Chelsea, does it?
Uh, I still feel that he didn't get the chances he deserved this season. I think he should have gotten more chances over Werner because I think he's not played for 2 months and still Werner just has one goal more than Tammy Abraham in all competition. So it's really shocking that Tammy didn't get his chances because we've seen Werner miss his chances week after week. So it's a little shame, but I feel Tammy doesn't fit into Tuchel's system, and I think we at this point we are trusting Tuchel and whatever his plans are and the way he's done at Chelsea. So I think we are trusting that, and it's a shame that Tammy couldn't be part of it. I wanted him to be part of it, but unfortunately he doesn't fit this
Where
system.
does he go though? You look at a situation with
Leicester.
Wolves. I think Wolves or Leicester.
But actually, no, actually makes sense. Leicester.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Leicester, Crystal
bigger club.
Palace.
Yeah, Crystal Palace would again be a downgrade one day.
Lampard's apparently joining, so that could be a
Yeah.
direct consequence.
Yeah,
I think at this point, all of these London clubs will start hiring bigger time managers because it's much easier to attract a player to London. I think
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
Brentford started. QPR
yeah,
are looking to do the same thing. Where we're trying to come up into the from the championship, and all of these London-based clubs who are now in the Premier League. I think West Ham will be looking whenever David Moyes does move on. I think they'll be looking for a bigger name manager there as well because of the stadium and everything else that they've gotten. So I think it's much better for clubs to be able to capitalize if they are in and around London.
yeah,
I think Brighton have really benefited in that manner as well because they're
yeah,
right on the outskirts there as well.
yeah,
So yeah, as far as Tammy Abraham is concerned, मालूम नहीं यार
yeah.
थोड़ा सा unfortunate है.
I like
But,
how
Can I just
City plays a
clarify?
major role there
yeah,
too.
Because
Vijay,
Moyes,
Vijay,
uh,
yeah.
Chelsea value Tammy at like around 40 million, and Moyes
Yeah.
said we want him for sure, but 40 million is something that just
40 million
rules
is
us
too
out.
much. 40 million
I
is
mean,
the
that's.
same amount they paid for Sebastian Haller, and you look
I
honest
mean,
here.
I think Tammy
That's
Abraham is still in the region of how good Chilwell is, and Chilwell was 50 million, right? So
Yeah,
I think it's a reasonable idea because he's super young
yeah,
and he has his best years ahead of him, and he's been
yeah,
brought up
Yeah,
through the academy.
I
I
think
believe so.
it could be a loan to buy option with a little bit of
yeah,
a subsidy there because
Not with
yes, 40
Marina.
million Vijay in this account in this scenario बहुत मुश्किल है यार. If
Yeah,
you're
true.
expecting a club like even
true.
a club like
I
Leicester,
don't expect it. I just know that's the strategy that Chelsea have. Their current valuation
yeah,
right now is 40 million.
yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
It could also work in a way that you move Tammy Abraham somewhere for some amount of money, add some amount on top of that, and go for a Lukaku or a Haaland.
See, my point is we sold back Diego Costa to Atletico Madrid when that was the only club he would go
yeah,
for 50
yeah,
Which
plus
is
million.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and when your club is capable of doing that, that's why when the club says we value him at 40 million, there's
yeah.
probably a reasoning behind it that
yeah.
I probably can't
यार
question.
एक तो चेल्सी जाना मुश्किल फिर वहां से निकलना और भी मुश्किल मालूम
निकलना
है क्या
और भी
सीन
मुश्किल. I remember Diego Costa complaining to the media that they have like jailed me or something of that sort.
हाँ नॉनसेंस वो
Conte laughing in the press conference.
डिएगो कोस्टा के तो
Yeah.
अपने इश्यूज थे कोई नहीं so it's okay but yes coming back there are a few more comments I'll take them and then we'll quickly have a look at Ligue 1 as well because tonight the 37th round of fixtures there as well. Lille comfortably at top comfortably तो नहीं कहूँगा 3 ही points हैं but Lille
Yeah.
are top and
Yeah.
we're hoping that it remains the same way. uh, just a second, I'll have to go. All right, yeah. I hope Barca lose both their remaining games and finish fourth. Anything to get Messi to leave, please. Surya says. Surya, I mean, even if they finish fourth, they're still in the Champions League, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Messi
yeah.
won't leave.
Can I just say,
So-
up until now, the way Barca performed has actually been the least of the reasons Messi wants to leave.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Barca's performances entirely what's the issue is there. But yes,
Yeah.
Surya, I mean, one can always hope. Manish, that's what Tuchel said to Abraham. I'll get back to you and then. Oh, Vipul, nice one. Manish saying Barcelona lost to Granada. That's probably the end of the title race for them. For them, definitely, Manish, it was.
Yeah,
Lucknow Liga, pehle aap, pehle aap.
man,
All right,
seriously.
Manish says, and the 3-3 draw against Levante as well. Again, they were leading there as
Yeah,
well. So,
they were needed
so
2-0. Yeah.
yeah, Balun's laughing at that. Tammy is coming to City. KDB वाली script नए हीरो के साथ. Ooh, I think De Bruyne and Abraham. I mean, like,
Why?
We could see Lukaku wali story. It's not
uh,
Yeah,
KDB wali. It could be
yeah.
a Lukaku story. Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
boys. Quickly, I'll jump over to France, and then we can, make up predictions for the games today. If there are any games that you want to make predictions on, I think it's the only
Chelsea
one that's there.
Leicester.
No, that's day
That's
after
next
tomorrow.
Tuesday.
I think
That's on
yeah,
Tuesday.
I think what we'll do is we'll do another football live on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Previewing up to Chelsea Leicester, of course. So because that becomes the most important game
Yeah.
for the next round of fixtures. So the top two teams, PSG take on Reims, who are 13th in the league, and Lille take on Saint Etienne, who are 11th in the league. So you know what's interesting? PSG take on the team which is 13th, and the next round they take on the team which is 14th. Lille take on the team which is 11th, and they take on the team in the next round which is 12th. So this is as close as it could have gotten, and France. It is genuinely going to go down to the wire because PSG are 12 goals ahead in terms of goal difference, and in France, head to head doesn't matter; it's the goal difference. So
Yeah.
PSG would win the league if they finished on the same points. So they really need to do
What's the
something there.
points difference?
it's
3 points, 3
three
points.
points. 3 points. Yeah.
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 And Sumit is also asking us to predict Djokovic versus Nadal. I mean, and he's also saying Nadal fuck the world, but yeah, all right. So, matlab,
Isn't it for
um,
the win? Have I
For
been
the win.
knowing it
It's for
all
the win.
wrong?
I'm going fuck
It's
the
for
world.
the win.
I'm going fuck the world. It's okay.
Very Glazers of you.
Very Abraham.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, coming back, but I think Nadal is the favorite there.
Yeah.
Starts as the favorite, but Djokovic had an insane. I think Nadal starts as the favorite as well because Djokovic had to play two matches yesterday. So he had to
Yeah.
play almost a match and a half because he had to play two sets against Tsitsipas and play three sets against Sonego, whereas Nadal won in straight sets against Riley Opelka. So I think Nadal walks in as the favorite. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, coming back to Liga, boys. Do you think our boys Lille can hold this through? Just like Atleti, it is another team we are hoping dono wins आ जाएं. So I think France and Spain, you'll have
Yeah.
underdog champions both the places. We'll start with you, Akshay.
Yeah. Matlab, yeah, I hope Lille win this match and win this competition because you don't want to see PSG winning it again and again. So वही है बाकी तो कुछ है नहीं उसके बारे में बोलने के लिए बिकॉज मैं तो नहीं
Yeah.
देखता वो कंपटीशन
Do they
I don't. I mean, I only watch the highlights because I genuinely couldn't care enough to search for the broadcast and look for it.
या
But but just the point is that Lille is such a young team at this point of time. Like their average is only 26, so they're quite a
Yeah.
young team. They have some old players like Yilmaz and everyone else. But I think it's good to see that there are people who are able to break what you call the sequences, right? Like it's like a monopoly, and Lille are the ones who are breaking the monopoly. Just like Atletico Madrid in Spain, it's usually Barcelona or Real Madrid. This is breaking the monopoly. So I mean, that is always a romantic football story. That's what football is about, right? It is not about the amount of money. It's about what happens beyond that. You saw it with
Yeah.
Leicester yesterday when uh, that connection between the owners, the fans, and the players. That is what football is about. So I think that's why you want Lille to win. That's an incredible story that would come
Plus
through. And
you look at that PSG squad and you'd think, yeah,
yeah,
this
how
is
can
just
they
a
be where
walkover.
they are?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how can they
exactly.
be where they are? I mean, why are they even in a race for the title? They should be racing away with it. So
Yeah.
that's the entire story. And I mean, PSG's bad start to the season has really come down to the wire. And once again, begging the question that without the Champions League, without Liga, which is probably something that they वो ऐसे दिमाग में रहता है. They take Liga for
हाँ.
granted and they look at the other competitions, or even those other competitions being the Champions League itself, because the cup competition is again the same. So would you consider this a successful season? What about Poch and everything else? So I mean, that's a lot of dramatic narrative that builds when Lille wins. So I mean, content तो अच्छा आ ही जाएगा, तो why not
Yeah.
go for Lille?
Yeah, of
Hopefully
course.
जर्मनी
And
में ऐसा हो जाए यार, जर्मनी में जल्दी हो जाए ऐसा.
No, it's
It's
a
I think
system,
getting
right?
boring. Yeah.
Bayern's system is so beautiful to watch in just
Yeah.
in terms of the way they operate. I know they have a monopoly in the market. There are different backtracking channels and everything else that exist, but just the way Bayern successfully run that system, that is efficiency at its best. That's what Germans are about. Unfortunately, not their national football team at the point of time, but at least the club is able to do that. So I don't think it breaks anytime soon unless somebody's becoming the visionary like Arsene Wenger was back in the day. So I mean, unless you're that, you can't.
Yeah.
all right, fair enough. I'll take the final few comments and then we'll end the live here,
Yeah.
boys. Vipul says, KD bhai, chalo, let's upload a Punjab Kings video today. CSK all-time 11 can wait. Sulaksh adding, there's no Indian official broadcast for League. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
it is quite sad. We used to get that on Sony 10.
Why is
And we
it
used to
sad? Why do you
It's
want to
sad.
watch that?
I used to watch Liga matches, man. It was fun.
Okay.
It was fun. It's better than watching La Liga and क्या बोलते हैं Serie A. To be very honest, Liga
Okay.
matches are faster. They're
The
more
fans are
so
amazing.
Liga and Bundesliga are closer to the Premier League in terms of the style of
Yeah.
play compared to Serie A and La Liga. So as English league fans, you agree? Agreed. PP Bayern's system is really good. It's probably the best, Vipul.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's about it from our side, boys. I would like for you guys to make a little bit of a prediction if you can. Of course, Atleti versus Osasuna and Real versus Athletic Bilbao. इसका prediction मैं चाहता हूँ आप लोगों से from both of you. If you guys could tell me what the scores would be, starting from Akshay and then I'll head to Pratnesh.
Predictions for Atleti and
Osasuna.
Osasuna.
okay. So I think Atleti will win this one. I don't see them not losing because the confidence is there. They won their previous game, so I'm expecting them to win this. I don't see any other result there.
All right,
Yeah.
Pratnesh, what about you?
Atleti should win. Real Madrid have a tough game at the San Mames, so
Yeah.
probably going for a very, very difficult win.
Look at
And-
Sulaksh. He says all three Spanish clubs to win. I mean, that's fair enough. I won't
Yeah,
mind
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think
All
Celta Vigo
three
hold
are
Barcelona.
Atletico
I think
to
Celta
beat
Vigo
Real.
hold. Yeah, Celta Vigo should hold Barcelona. I think that should happen.
Yeah.
Barcelona, come on, win the Lucknow Liga and have Aguero and Messi together next season. All right, people. Right, I don't think Barcelona के पास chance है, but let's hope. Atletico do win the match and also Lille win the match again as well. Apart from that, I don't think there is anything else from us, guys. Thank you so much.
Chelsea women's का है final आज.
Yeah, the Chelsea women's Champions League final.
Champions League final against
Okay,
Barcelona women.
12:30 a.m. It should be live on YouTube. On the
It should
Yeah.
it should be live on the Chelsea official YouTube channel, na? Pratnesh, as you told us
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah. It will be.
All right.
I mean, in all that chaos that Chelsea is, Emma Hayes has been the constant over
Yeah.
a long time. So massive
I
kudos to
think-
her and actually building a squad that's good enough to
Yeah.
do this. I mean, I genuinely felt when Lampard was hired, Emma Hayes should have gotten the job. But then, all of that aside, she deserves to win this one, and it's against
Yeah.
Barcelona. So at least one Barcelona team is doing well, and hopefully they also have a good game today.
All right. Let's
Let's
hope.
see.
Let's all the best to the Chelsea women there, and of course to the Barcelona women's team is there as well. Barcelona women invincible in the league, 26
Yeah.
matches and 26 wins is what Sulaksh has told us.
Yeah.
That it's going to be a tough match definitely for Chelsea. That's an
Yeah.
insane record. That's 26 out of 26. Like what kind of a league was it? Oh, like what the fuck? But all right. Thank you so much to Pratnesh, Akshay, and of
Yeah.
course Vijay for joining us. Vijay had to push off, just a little bit
Yeah.
earlier, for a little bit of work. Thank you so much for joining us. Do check out our socials: Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, of course. We also did a little bit of a practice stream on the V Express Sport YouTube channel yesterday. So do check it out.
Yeah.
We're coming with a few fantasy-based teams, and we'll keep giving you more of an update about what the whole series is going to be and how the matches are going to be. And if you guys do want to watch and do want to follow them, because that's what we are going to be doing as well. I'm still not revealing anything, so anyone who's watching this will not understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Silak says she's missed Vijay's FA Cup reaction. Go back to the start, bro. Go back to the start.
Go back to the
You'll
start.
find it out.
And also wait for Tuesday. Something's going to be out on Tuesday regarding
Yeah.
what Kushal is talking about.
Absolutely, and thank you so much. And also Pratmesh यार please विपुल का CSK 11 वीडियो देख ले. कल से तुम्हारे CEO साहब वापस है, तो ask him to do some work. बहुत शादी की लिया उसने.
We are waiting for a timing. We are waiting for a good time to release a CSK video, I must say.
क्या timing? What is the timing?
IPL
There is
coming
no
back.
timing. No, there is no
IPL
timing anymore now. Release it. It's okay. Let's take an executive decision. Put it out there. Anyway, all right. Thank you so much, boys, for joining us. We'll be back soon. Up until then, keep watching the Sports Domain. There are so many different videos for you guys to check out. Do keep looking out to the socials for our next lives, and we'll see you soon.